Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing and financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in grad school or whatever, I give it to you for free here on Financipation. Before I get started, I also want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Kilica Solutions. If you need digital marketing, website development, or someone to essentially edit your videos, they're the best in the business at doing it. And all these dope graphics that you see, I personally am not the one to put them together. Kilica Solutions does, and they're phenomenal at what they do. Also, please hit that notification bell, hit that like button so that you know when I drop new content, okay? With that, everybody, we're going to talk about different middle-class poverty hacks that I want you to avoid. A lot of times I'll talk about financial emancipation. A lot of that is getting pretty much out of your comfort zone and getting out of the lower middle class to middle class and getting to that upper middle class to essentially building generational wealth and being wealthy. And in this particular podcast is what we're going to talk about essentially. First middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this. I want you to stop being so loyal to a specific company. There are a lot of benefits, everybody, to working in corporate America. You get employee sharing options, you get healthcare, you get 401k matches. In a lot of ways, working in corporate America rounds out your people skills. I'm not one of these YouTubers that basically demonizes those who have a 9-to-5. In my opinion, there are a lot of quote unquote fake entrepreneurs out here who do a lot better if they quote unquote stop trying to be fake entrepreneurs and instead actually got a job in corporate America. But in general, everybody, there are a lot of benefits to working in corporate. Once again, it builds up your professional skills, and corporate America in general is a very, very good indicator as far as whether or not you can make it as an entrepreneur, because if you cannot work 40 to 50 hours a week for someone else, there is no way you're going to work 90 to 100 hours a week working for yourself. And if you're an entrepreneur, that is how you're going to work, at least for a period of time, okay? On average, when you work in corporate, however, there are issues that come with it. For instance, on average, you get only about a 3% pay raise every year in corporate America or whatever. And to give you an indication about that, inflation on average rises 3%. So basically, if your employer is only giving you a 3% pay raise and inflation is rising 3% every year, you're literally not going anywhere. Having said that, on average, when you leave your job and go to another company or whatever, go to a competitor, on average, you get a 20% pay raise. So my advice is simple. Unless they're giving you equity in a company or whatever, every 4 to 5 years, you should probably be interviewing and possibly going to a new company. And the reason why I say that is because that's the only way you're going to anywhere close to being paid what you are actually worth if you work in corporate America. Now, let me give a little personal story about something in my respects as far as corporate or whatever. As a mechanical engineer who has an MBA, I've worked in corporate or whatever, and it has treated me and my family very well and it's provided me a very affluent lifestyle. But for one particular engineering firm that I was working at, I noticed that my boss continued to bring in people that were younger than me, who had less experience than I did, and who also had less credentials than I did. And during my annual review or whatever, I ended up talking to my boss about that. And my boss looked me in my face and told me I was the best mechanical engineer that he had on his staff. He then told me, however, he did not like me as much as he liked another individual who he was going to hire. And he told me in order for me basically making that company, I needed to get along with that guy. I immediately got up during the middle of my performance review, walked out of his office, sent an email to the entire company and said I was leaving or whatever. The next day, interviewed with another company and got a $40,000 pay raise to work for someone else. It's like this, everybody. If you are not willing to basically fight for what you should be making, you're not willing pretty much to stand up for yourself, no one else is going to stand up for you in corporate America. And remember, a company will never pay you what you are actually worth. They're going to pay you what they think they need to pay to keep you around. So learn as much as you can and be willing to leave a company if the time is necessary, okay? Next, the next middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: never investing in yourself. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see so many people make who are in the middle class or whatever. Every year you work in corporate America, you should essentially be looking to get a new certification, learn a new skill set, or in some cases, even possibly going back to school and getting another degree. If you are an entrepreneur, you should be always willing to gain a new skill set, attend a conference, find a mentor, or do something to pretty much expand your business and expand your knowledge base or whatever. What I find happens, unfortunately, to a lot of people in corporate America, in the middle class, and also as well as the entrepreneurs, is that they get comfortable and they get complacent. So instead of investing or whatever in themselves to get that MBA or to get that PMP certification or to get that lead certification or to get another type or learn another aspect as far as the trade that you're working in, instead of basically learning the small things or whatever over time that are going to build them into becoming senior management, they get comfortable and they get complacent working the 40 hours a week, getting paid, getting the 2 weeks paid vacation or whatever, making that $85,000 a year and essentially just kind of going home and playing with their wife or playing with their kids. And when that happens, people, to a lot of entrepreneurs or whatever, as well, is instead of investing into their businesses or whatever, or instead of learning a new skill set, they get comfortable once again as an entrepreneur making that $100,000 a year, and they never take the necessary steps to take their business from 100K a year to 250K a year. People, always be willing to invest in yourself and never get comfortable with your lifestyle and never get complacent. Okay. There are a series of things that you can complain about living in America, but in America, you can literally become, people, anything that you want. And this is the greatest country in the world in regards to building wealth and making as much money as possible. And one of the ways to build wealth and make as much money as possible, and I say this in previous podcasts that I've done, is learn as much as you can, work very hard, and also never stop investing in yourself. The next middle class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: stop buying too much car, people. Another serious middle-class poverty hack is the fact that I see people essentially buying cars that cost way too much of their discretionary income. People, it's like this: the average new car payment in America is $720 a month. The average used car payment in America is $530 a month. Your car payments, people, should never be more than 10% of your take-home pay. And oftentimes when I do my one-on-one financial consultation sessions with my clients or whatever, and we go over their budgets, the first thing I tell them they have to get rid of is that brand new car payment or whatever, and trade it in for a used one. Now, I'm an engineer and I live in a world full of numbers. So I use an example for most of the things that I say. Imagine if you buy a brand new car and you have a $700 car payment and you pay it off in 60 months. You will have spent roughly $42,000 or whatever to pay off that car over that 60-month period, and you will have invested literally $0. If you instead trade in that brand new car and you get a used car and you only spend $300 a month for it, and you invest the other $400 or whatever into a index fund, into some kind of REIT, or into some kind of a fund or whatever that gives you a 10% return on your investments, in 5 years or 60 months, you would have only spent $18,000 for a car, and you would have invested approximately $31,000 into this particular brokerage account. Wake up, everybody. Your new car is keeping you poor and is stopping you from building generational wealth. And I advise all my clients, whatever, that if their car note is more than 10% of their take-home pay, to trade that thing in and get something that's less expensive that they can actually afford. The next middle-class poverty hack I want you to avoid is this: stop buying too much house, people, period. People, you do not need that 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom mansion, man cave or whatever with the pool in the back, whatever. You don't need all that house. A lot of people buy too much home and they lie to themselves and say, oh, I want to buy this big home because I want all my family members to come visit me for Christmas. I want people to come visit me and they have a room to stay there. I wouldn't have to get a hotel. People, stop doing that or whatever. And if your family members only come to visit you one time a year, which is around Christmas time, that's probably a problem as well. I'm a firm believer in reading, and in his book, The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas Stanley, the author, noticed that the typical millionaire, the typical decade millionaire in America, his home was very rarely more than 4 times their family's annual combined income. In other words, people, your home, everyone, just like your apartment rent, should never be more than 25% of your take-home pay every month. So that's the next middle-class poverty hack I want you to avoid, okay? People, stop buying too much house, period. And in America, that's something that we do far too much. Next, the next middle-class poverty hack I want you to avoid, and this might actually be the most important one on the list, is stop getting so much credit card debt, period. People, I'm not like that guy in Tennessee who says that you should basically shoot up your credit cards with AR-15s and that basically you don't need a credit score or nothing like that. Shout out to that gentleman, but I'm not like that guy from Tennessee or whatever. I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe in his privileged world, he can get away with not having a credit score, but for most of us, we can't do that. My advice is simple, everybody. You need a credit score and you need a credit card. You should be paying off your credit card balance every month, however, so that your credit score is as close to 800 as possible. Americans in 2023, everybody, had $986 billion with a B of credit card debt. The average American has $8,000 in credit card debt, and the average credit card has an APY of 22%. That analogy I gave earlier, everybody, that was what the person has 10% on whatever, it's in regards to your card note or whatever, in regards to basically putting that money into an account and stacking your paper. An APY of 22%, people, it is almost impossible to find a investment that gives you that outside of artwork. And it's interesting because, for comparison's sake, banks on average only give you 0.02% or whatever of an APY when you put your money into that bank. That means that the interest rates that a bank essentially charges you for their credit cards is literally 1,000 times higher than what they pay you to use their bank. Think about that for a minute, everybody. Oftentimes on this channel, I brag about the stocks and mutual funds that I invest in giving me roughly 12 to 14% of my returns. Well, people, once again, just like I said earlier, credit cards charge you 22% when you do not pay them off on time. And the fact that the average American has $8,000 of credit card debt, that shows you why our country is basically literally wallowing around in debt. It's astronomical. And my advice, once again, everybody, is simple. You need a credit score and you basically need a credit card. My advice, once again, is pay off your credit card balance every month so that your credit score is as close to 800 as possible and so that your credit card debt is zero. Also, before I move forward, everybody, please hit that notification bell. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That way you know when I'm dropping new content, and it helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys new content, okay? The next middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this. Stop getting too much student loan debt and stop picking useless college majors for your degree. I'm not one of these YouTubers, everybody, that says college is useless and you should not go to college. Once again, I'm a mechanical engineer and I have an MBA. So I went the educational route or whatever, in addition to the entrepreneur route. And full disclosure, everybody, that has afforded my lifestyle. That has afforded me and my family a very affluent lifestyle. God is blessed and whatever. And it's allowed me to essentially do things like I'm doing right now with Financipation. I went to undergrad essentially for free. I got some scholarships for grad school or whatever, but in general, I ended up spending $120,000 to obtain my MBA, and I have a whole separate podcast about that, about how I got screwed over working for my employer and everything like that. It's a conversation for another day. Having said that, I paid off my MBA in 7 years. $120,000, I paid it off in 7 years. Essentially, everybody, I have multiple podcasts and multiple YouTubes where I tell you essentially that if you do want to go to college and you get a degree, there are certain majors that are essentially a lot better than others. And some of those majors are science, technology, engineering, math, healthcare, law, and finance. If you basically get a degree in those particular fields, you are literally guaranteed for the most part to make tens of millions of dollars over a 40-year career. And on top of it, the unemployment rate for those particular careers are less than 2% nationally. One middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid, however, is that do not go to college and get a useless college major. And also stop going to college and basically racking up insane amounts of money or whatever to pay for college via student loan debt. People, unless if you get a full athletic scholarship or a full academic scholarship, there is literally no reason to go to an out-of-state college ever. Go to an in-state college. People, you should be applying to at least 2 scholarships per week from the day your senior year in the high school starts to the day you graduate from grad school or whatever years later. And the reason why is simple. There are literally hundreds of billions of dollars of free scholarship money that are available every year. But how many people, especially those in the middle class, do not apply to any scholarships or whatever and do not make college more affordable? Lastly, Americans have approximately $986 billion with the B dollars worth of credit card debt. Well, everybody, with student loan debt, we have $1.6 trillion of student loan debt. It's almost double. People, if you want to go to college, you need to be very strategic about how you pay for it, and you need to be very strategic about what majors that you get or whatever, because student loan debt is the one type of debt that I've discovered so far that does not get expunged through bankruptcy. In other words, when you sign on that dotted line or whatever for them student loan debts, then things follow you literally for life, okay? Next, the next middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: not even considering learning a trade or going the blue-collar route. Everybody, college is not for everyone. It's as simple as that. There are certain people that would honestly do better working with their hands, and there are certain people that honestly do better joining the Marines or whatever, or possibly becoming a blue-collar firefighter or a blue-collar police officer. Simple as that. And I will say this, in regards to the blue-collar trades, once you learn a trade and you understand essentially how to work with your hands, you are literally never unemployed. Now, once again, I always like to give numbers for the things that I say, and it's like this. The average master electrician makes $125,000 a year. The average HVAC star technician makes $110,000 a year. The average master plumber makes $105,000 a year. And if you are willing to travel and from state to state and work weekends, you can literally double those salaries, and in some cases, triple those salaries. Yes, I have met master electricians that make $500,000 a year. The average blue-collar electrician, plumber, and HVAC technician makes more money on an annual salary than an engineer or a lawyer. Think about that for a minute. Additionally, unlike college, where you essentially come out of college with student loan debt, unions and trade halls actually pay you to go to school at night, and they actually pay you to learn the trade. So Once again, everybody, once you learn to work with your hands, you're also literally never unemployed. Once you learn a trade, you literally will always have a job, period. And one middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is not even considering learning a trade or going into the union halls, okay? Next, the next middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: not maintaining your physical health. Harvard did a study, and in 2023, they concluded that roughly 69% of Americans are overweight and 40% of Americans are obese. The US military concludes that 77% of high school age males today are too physically unfit and too mentally unfit to pass basic training. Everybody, we are the fattest country in the world. And to me, when I hear studies like that, that kind of basically puts me in the mindset that that is a national security issue when roughly 80% of high school age men are essentially too fat and too obese and too mentally weak to be of any use to the United States military. I actually have a podcast where I talk about how obesity is killing your ability to build generational wealth. And when I see studies or whatever that kind of point to this kind of thing, it takes me back to all my days of the people who I've worked with personally in corporate America and as an entrepreneur, who, because I was physically in better shape than them, I was able to get the promotions and they were not. Having said it, let's stick to finance, okay? For example, let's say you make $100,000 a year or whatever, and you die of a heart attack at 40. Well, everybody, the retirement age right now in America is 65. That means if you die of a heart attack at 40, you just cost your family $2.5 million or whatever of money because you died 25 years prematurely. Get in shape, people, and stay in shape. Healthy people can work longer. We wake up earlier. We basically call in sick a lot less. And generally speaking, any company wants to promote healthier people because we get promoted faster or whatever because we're more reliable. We don't call in sick as often, and we're essentially more reliable as far as being there. Another mistake I see a lot of people make is this: they end up spending all of their health to build up their wealth. And then 25 to 30 years later, they end up turning around and spending all their wealth to get their health back. It makes no sense, everybody. Once again, maintain your health. Not only does it significantly improve your dating options, it significantly improves your wealth. Next, the next middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: not investing for retirement. So the average American might be homeless a few months after they retire. There are roughly 260 million adults in America. 10% of Americans, or 26 million people, have $0 in savings. 42% of Americans, or roughly 210 million adults, have less than $1,000 in savings. 58% of Americans, roughly 151 million adults, have less than $5,000 in their savings. Lastly, 50% of women aged 55 to 66 have $0 in retirement. That means essentially, ladies, that if you do not have a husband or children to fall back on, you're going to be homeless in less than 3 months after you retire. Think about that for a minute. When I first started this YouTube channel, Financipation, it was precisely for this reason, because I was absolutely blown away about how many Americans I meet in their 50s and 60s that were seriously looking at being homeless in retirement 1 to 2 months after they retire from their job. And people, also, if you retire at 65, the average American lives 20 years in retirement. That means if you made $50,000 every year that you work or whatever in corporate America, and you spend 20 years in retirement, in order to maintain your same standard of living or whatever, you would need to make $50,000 for the next 20 years. When you factor in inflation and the fact of rising healthcare costs, that means the average American is going to need to have about $2 million in retirement when they retire. And I also got news for you as well, people. The federal government and Social Security is not coming to save you, okay? It's as simple as that. You have to get serious, everybody, about investing for your retirement, because if you are not serious about it, the streets are literally going to be waiting for you. Homelessness is going to be around the corner. And I want you to check out my podcast or whatever, where I talk about 50 and broke. And I essentially walk you through step-by-step different ways about how you can retire with dignity and with respect. Next. The last middle-class poverty hack that I want you to avoid is this: not teaching your children how to be financially literate. People, you should be teaching your kids how to cook because it saves them money. You should be teaching your kids essentially how to work out because it keeps them healthy, strong, and in shape. People, you should be teaching your kids the importance of filling out and applying for scholarships because it allows them to go to college on an affordable basis. People, you should be introducing your children to the trades or to the U.S. military if college is not necessarily the route that they want to go. People, you should be teaching your kids what an index fund is, what a 401k match is, what a Roth IRA is, what an ETF is, what an HSA is. You should be teaching your kids these things. And if you do not know what they are, you're in the right place. Watch Financipation, because I explain all that stuff in brutal detail here on this channel, okay? People, you should be teaching your kids the difference between a will and a trust. And not raising financially literate children who understand how money works is a surefire way to make sure that your kids die poor or die in the lower middle class, okay? With that, everybody, this channel, Financipation, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty, okay? You can book a session with me, a one-on-one session at any point. The links are going to be below. And I'm not giving you, once again, financial advice on this channel. I think that you should do your own research as far as what you want to invest in or whatever. And you can please follow me on Instagram at @thereal_Financipation. Check out my Financipation channel on Spotify called Financipation. You can find me on TikTok as well under Financipation. My Facebook page is Financipation. Check out some of my digital, my e-products below as well. And additionally, everybody, check out my financial blog or whatever. We dropped it a couple weeks ago and it's fire, okay? With that, everybody, it's your boy Chris. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. Please hit that notification bell. Thank you, Kilico Solutions, for all the great edits. And have a nice day, everybody. It's your boy Chris. I'm out. Peace.